No, man, I'm glad to have you here. I'm going to hand it over to you. First, tell us about who you are, where you work, and
all right.
And I mean, where you're at, what you do, and then tell us about what you thought about today's performance.
Well, folks, I'm coming out of California, and today's performance, what can we say? Horrible. Can't do the basic fundamentals. We can't do we literally can't do anything. It felt like that whole first half lackluster, dude. Dynamo kicking it up in that second, and then that's when I logged off. That's when I actually had to start teaching the next period, and in extra time, my kids were like, "Hey, just so you know, your team shot the bed."
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard too. Like me. I mean, it's a little bit easier on me because I'm on the East Coast, right? So I can put the game on in the background while I'm working and doing whatever. I work from home, so it's a little bit easier for me. But for us here in the U.S., it's hard to catch these games, especially the weekday games, especially the ones that are happening. I mean, for you, that was like, what, 10, 11 in the afternoon or in the morning?
In the morning, probably, usually 10, 11, 12. Sometimes it just kind of depends. But like teaching out of California here, man, it is a bit hard just being on the furthest coast, right? To, I mean, I guess Hawaii, but you kind of get where I'm going there. And it's just to get Spurs content at a somewhat, like a time where you're kind of winding down, or maybe you're in a night owl, as you were saying. Is going to be tremendous, Will. So I'm wishing you all the luck. I'm winding down right now. So
yeah, man. Thank you. I mean, we got to have. I'll drink to that. We got to have something here in the States that, in this time where we actually can just sit back and relax and don't have to, because usually, like, if it's an early stream, like that's really why, like, I've kind of focused on Maddie's channel with his watch alongs. It's because he does kind of the fan invite before the match a lot of the times, and so it's easier for me to get on before 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon when my kids start getting home from school or my wife gets home from work. And then the noise in the house goes up. That's why, like, if you've seen me before, a lot of my earlier, when I would come on to shows, it'd be in the garage by the workout equipment, right? Because that's the only place in the house at that time of day. And we're just throwing some comments here because a lot of people are saying they could hear you. Yeah, I can hear you now too. So it must have been my thing. I'll try to get that worked out. It's never
no worries, guys. Because I was literally all the problems you said about audio, I literally had gone through and I was like, oh man, I messed up. I was so worried about framing out the picture because I'm actually jerry rigging this. I live in a rural part in California, so IP services, y'all know how it is here in the States. Terrible, right? We're not getting taken care of. Our kids feel it, all that stuff. And me as a teacher, when I was doing distance learning, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's just one of those things. So I'm like jerry rigging, just hearing you about your beginning when you were calling in on shows kind of by the workbench and things like that. I'm kind of feeling that for sure.
Yeah, I know. I mean, because when it's that time of the day, I can't come into my office in the evening, when it's the way my office works, even if I have the door closed or whatever, you can still hear noise in the house. And the way my office is, it's on a loft overlooking kind of like the second living room over the kitchen. And so all of that noise, everybody's in the kitchen or area, which is where the kids are doing the remote schooling and stuff like that, it just completely comes through.
Yeah.
This mic helps out a little bit. You guys may have heard my wife yelling at my son a little bit earlier, maybe not, but yeah,
I'm using a Kohl's 4104B because I'm super extra. I do a lot of commentating. More so, I do a lot of doing a lot of that color commentating when I'm at school. So here's more background on myself, folks. Is just before I started teaching, I was a radio station manager. So radio is fun, man. I love audio. I love audio in general. The audio stuff, perfect. Networking is my issue more than anything. So I I do a lot of like recording PSAs for the East Coast. So different states out there. I don't even know where I'm at right now, but fun stuff. I just apparently have that ugly voice, that ugly face, but beautiful voice. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, you look great, man. You look great. And yeah, my mom lives out this way. She lives up in a small town in I guess you could say Central California.
Same. So. Are you in? You said USL. I'm curious. What academy?
My son plays for Fusion, so they have a USL 2 side.
Okay.
And in the state of North Carolina here, we have NCFC, which has a USL championship team, and the Charlotte Independence, which has a USL. And so we play in the same league as all of those teams. So
nice.
The USL teams play in the ECNL out here. So out here, especially, you have ECNL pretty big in California too. I think you have the North Division, South Division.
Yeah, we have I'm familiar with Sac Republic, so Sac FC. And we're obviously feeling that failed bid right now, but we'll see where that goes.
Yeah, so I mean, they just have, so for youth sides, for their youth academies, that's the league that they play in. Even though they're USL teams, they play for I think actually the USL Youth Academy. They're starting what they're calling now the USL Academy. Now that the MLS, so since the DA system kind of went away, now they have the MLS Next, and then they have USL's come out. They're calling the USL Academy, where they'll play each club that has a USL team, whether it be USL Championship, USL League One, or USL League Two. They'll have a youth academy team that is between U15 and U19, so it's kind of like the best of the club. And my son's only U14 now, but starting next year they're going to have that, and they'll play in their own little youth academy. Right now, the USL doesn't actually have its own youth league, so the youth teams play in the ECNL or other leagues that are local. Some of the bigger clubs might play for MLS Next, but they didn't even play this year. So MLS Next, I don't think starts until next year. But yeah, enough of that.
And it's rough, man. It's rough.
What do you have? I want you to read that question there and tell me what you think about that. He says, that's Tottenham says, enough is enough. Jose out. I've been Jose in since he came in, but that's it. I'm officially Jose out. What would you have to say to that, Tottenham?
Oh, man, that's Tottenham. Well, I get the sentiment, and especially us here. I feel like we're always going to have a small disconnect, US side from the Isles, or being closer just in general in Europe. But we all do love the club, right? And I think we share a lot of that same feeling. But at the same time, I'm split, at least personally, because I get where you're coming from, but 2020 was really 2019, affected by 2019. Jose comes in, right? We're now in 2021. It just, I feel like he's going to have to fall on the sword, right? And it's unfortunate because I do feel like he could kind of take this squad going forward and actually give us, a starting 11 that would be formidable, at least a formidable foe in the Premier League. But at the same time, I see where if we're going to do a rebuild, why are you going to do a rebuild with Mourinho, right?
Yeah, but I think you could do a rebuild with Mourinho. I think you could do a rebuild with anybody. Because I just don't think it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you can.
I just don't think it matters who the manager is. The core root is that half the team is rotten to the core, in my opinion. So
no, yeah. And you were talking a bit earlier, Will. I feel like because I know you were there for the Stelios stream there with David, and that really stuck with me. Like being able to scout players that are actually of the caliber that you want, or at the very least, what I can't praise Mourinho on is kind of sending out our youth to go out and play, because you do got to build up that youth. There's there's going to be two thoughts, right? We're either going to build our youth, and I think in general you should be anyways, and we're going to have to start playing that big ball league type of money ball, where maybe you're going to have to chase some players, but at the same time, I'm very comfortable being a balanced team. I want to be a balanced team the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that frustrates me about that is that there were other clubs in Europe, other countries in Europe who were willing to take risks, right, with bringing in, some top U.S. talent. So, U.S. men's national team prospects. Now, granted, I understand that England has the FA has different rules, and they're not allowed to bring kids under 18, onto the into their academies. But the thing that really gets me is that when they do turn 18, you got to be jumping on that, right? You got to be jumping on that because, you got Alphonse Davies, and you've got, Weston McKennie, and and I've been following these players for years. Gio Reyna.
Like, to actually see. Yeah.
And it's like, how can you not go out and drop? We're talking like Dele Alli money, right? £5 million on a young kid. What do you got to lose, right? Cameron Carter
take the risk,
and he wasn't even a starter really for our U.S. men's national team, and he wasn't even. He was English, really. I mean, he grew up in England his whole life. He just had a dad who was American, and that's how he got played for the U.S. men's national team. But there's a link right there.
But that just tells you, like, that should have told you a lot, though.
Yeah. And so we got Jay. We got JJ.
He took us to the top of the league.
Yeah. Do you think that we can still win the Caribou Cup? What do you think about that?
Oh man, I don't know. I kind of feel I was listening to Maddie talk a bit and he was like, man, I just feel like we gotta pack it in. We know that Man City's gonna do us in and there's no chance, but I gotta believe, man. I gotta believe it's just been a hell of a year. And as a Spurs fan and in general, we live it's been long out here. Period. And I live out in California, so things are all over. But everywhere that I've been talking, all my friends across the states, they're like, dude, come on. Well, at least my Spurs friends.